Good evening, and thanks for joining us here on Capitol Tonight. I'm James Barragan. As we begin tonight, Governor Greg Abbott is threatening to arrest and potentially remove Texas lawmakers from office. That's because more than 51 House Democrats refused to show up to the Capitol today, breaking quorum to stop a controversial mid-decade redistricting plan. In a statement, Governor Abbott announced he's ordered the Department of Public Safety to locate, arrest, and return missing members to the House chamber. He claims House Democrats have, quote, abandoned their duty to Texans, and he wants to replace them, something not everyone agrees he can do. But Attorney General Ken Paxton is among those who do. He issued his own statement saying he's prepared to do everything in his power to hold Democrats accountable because, quote, these liberal lawmakers are not above the law. So far, Democrats have spread out to at least 3 states, Illinois, New York, and Massachusetts. And as our Aaron Davis explains, they're prepared to stay out of Texas for as long as it takes.
Members, a quorum is not present.
A majority of House Democrats are no longer in the state. DPS and House Sergeant-at-Arms are figuring out how to get them back to the Capitol. 56 of the 62 Democratic caucus members broke quorum in an effort to stop Republicans' mid-decade partisan redraw of the state's congressional district map.
I will immediately sign the warrants for the civil arrest of the members who have said they will not be here.
Democratic Caucus Chair Representative Jean Wu says absent members won't be deterred by threats and that this special session is effectively over.
This is the final tool that we have. And what we're trying to do is tell the public, to give the public ample warning, to be as loud as possible, to let them know that their government is not listening to them.
If the governor is to call another special session, do you all plan to be there at the start of that?
Absolutely. And we're counting on the governor to keep to his word that the disaster in Kerrville is the most important thing.
Democrats are in Chicago, New York, and Boston, which is where Houston Representative Armando Wally spoke with Capitol Tonight from following the issuance of a warrant for his arrest.
Whether the speaker or the governor are threatening certain actions, we'll take them as they come, and I'm not afraid to stand up for my constituents.
There are 6 Democrats who stayed in Texas. Edinburgh Representative Terry Canales says he wasn't convinced to leave.
There's more than one way to fight, and one of those ways is staying and having a seat at the table.
With Texas state troopers looking for Canales' colleagues, Speaker Burrows says they're prepared to call on the president to deploy federal resources to bring Democrats back.
We will continue to work with everybody to make sure there is nothing off the table.
Burrows hopes Democrats will be back in the chamber when they convene Tuesday at 1 p.m. If not, bill movement will be frozen until enough Democrats return to conduct business. Of course, with only 2 weeks left in the special session, time could run out. For Capitol Tonight, I'm Aaron Davis.
Joining us now, we have State Representative Rammon Romero, a Democrat from Fort Worth, who is in Chicago right now. Thanks for joining Capitol Tonight. Let's start off with the decision to leave the state. What caused you and your fellow House Democrats to take this really drastic measure?
Thank you, James, for allowing me to be with you tonight. First of all, we know that this is not Governor Abbott's decision. This is him paying back the favor for that voucher bill that he had to call President Trump and say, I need your help. I've got some Republicans that won't vote for this taking of private school or public school dollars to send it to private schools. And this is just simply Governor Abbott paying the president back. And it's going to be at a great expense to communities of color, specifically the Latino and Black communities in all over our state. And look, there's just no way that we have the numbers at this time to stop this. So the last thing any legislator wants to do is take this action of breaking quorum. That's exactly the action we've had to take. And it's simply because this is not an extraordinary circumstance, which the Constitution says why we should call special sessions. This is simply a favor for Donald Trump in the White House. We know it. Governor Abbott knows it. He doesn't know how to put politics down, and this is where we find ourselves. But we know that the people of Texas are behind us. We saw what happened in these hearings. 99% of people that went to those redistricting hearings voiced their opposition despite even being able to see a map.
What is your response to your Republican colleagues and even some Texans who say you are abandoning your duty as a lawmaker, that you should have stayed here in the Capitol and fought.
Yeah, my duty is to my constituents in District 90. I wrote a letter to the governor, and I've already sent it to him, explaining very simply the obligation that I have is to those people that elected me, and those that elected me in District 90 know this is going to hurt my district, hurt our state, and therefore I am absolutely in the position to represent them and represent them well. As far as his threats are concerned, we know that Governor Abbott can never put politics down. He makes false claims about his rights to arrest us and his rights to fine us in one way or another. That's all good and well. We will deal with that at another time. The urgent matter right now is dealing with voting rights and ensure that people's votes matter and that every Texan believes that their vote matters.
I want to talk about the flooding, because are you concerned that critical flood relief won't get to victims and the cities and counties that need it because you all are staying away?
You know as well as I do, James, you've covered the legislature really, really well. Right now, he has an opportunity to cover that, to deal with it. We know that this is the 60-mile stretch of the Guadalupe River. He has the resources. We have so much money. It's at his disposal. He can use TDEM dollars. He can use emergency response dollars. He has chosen to use this as a way to support his boss in the White House. Make no mistakes. This is Donald Trump's boy. He's acting like it. He's got an excuse. Sadly, he doesn't have honor and respect for those families to not use them the way he has.
How long will you guys stay away? Are you prepared to do it for a second special session if it comes to that?
We will do what it takes to prevent this. The best thing that could happen is Governor Abbott to just simply have a change of heart and understand that this is going to start a war, a cold war throughout the states, throughout the entire nation. The nation is watching. He cannot escape the voter. He maybe can hurt congressional members and prevent them from being represented in Congress, but the Texas voters are paying attention to him. He's a statewide, and he is not going to be able to escape the wrath of voters in 2026.
Representative Romero, thank you so much for joining the program. And on the other side of this conversation, we now have Republican Representative Jared Patterson joining us tonight. Representative Patterson, thanks for joining the show tonight.
Thank you.
Let's start with your reaction to the decision by House Democrats to break quorum. Obviously, it's a drastic move.
Well, look, Texans aren't bred to run away from a fight, and I don't think that what Texas Democrats are doing are going to sit well with their voters. They seem to be obsessed with these 5 seats in Congress. But what I think they ought to be focused on is the 5 seats that they lost in the Texas House after they did this quorum break the last time a few years ago. That's where they are. Voters aren't going to be happy with it. We've got real work to get done, not just redistricting, but other important work for Texans, and they need to show up for work that they're obligated to be at.
Yeah, let's talk about those other issues, because in their statements to us, Democrats have said, hey, you guys are talking about flooding and how we can't get flooding stuff done, but we would have preferred, the Democrats saying, we would have preferred if flooding had been number 1, but you guys put redistricting at number 1. What is your response to that?
Well, look, I mean, this tragedy happened on July 4th. We've had hearings, and including late last week in Kerrville, we had a hearing. Republicans are here at work in Austin, and we will have hearings again tomorrow on this issue. We are going to continue to walk and chew gum at the same time, taking care of most of the items on the call all at the same time while we're working. Democrats fled the state. They have no plan. They have no way of addressing the concerns that they have because they're not here. You know, the battlefield that they're looking for is right here in Austin, Texas, on the floor of the Texas House.
Yeah, politically, they say you guys put them in a tough spot, though, by making them potentially take this vote almost immediately. What do you say? It's just you guys are the ones in charge?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're putting themselves in a tough spot. The last time that the Democrats fled the state, they lost 5 seats in the Texas House. We went from 83 Republicans to 88 Republicans. Texas voters have no time and no patience for people that refuse to show up to work, especially when they're constitutionally obligated to be here.
Let me ask you about redistricting, because you talked about the 5 additional Republican seats that are going to be drawn potentially. And I just want to ask you how you feel about redistricting. Obviously, it seems like you're in favor of it, but a lot of the testimony that we heard was against the map. So that's what Democrats are saying. They're saying we're doing what our constituents are asking us to do.
Yeah, no, what Democrats are doing, or what the coastal liberal elites want them to do in places like New York and Boston, where they're hiding out, trying to escape from the DPS troopers that are after them, that's who they're representing right now. Look, Democrats did a really good job of organizing and paying for buses to ship people to Austin to testify on these maps. Texas is well within our rights. Look, we've had 1,600 new residents every single day move here to Texas. Some of the districts are heavy, some of the districts are light. It is time for us to redistrict, to reapportion the population, to make sure that every single voter has an equal say in their districts, and we can do so by political means, just as other states. Democrats fled to Illinois, a state with a 52% win by the Democrats last time, yet more than 80% of the seats in Congress are held by Democrats. The courts have said it. We can do this through a political process. We're all political beings in this game, and that's what Democrats need to do to get back. I
think the question is, we know that the party in charge is going to draw the maps in their favor. Politically, that is allowed, even as you said, by the Supreme Court. It's just the mid-decade part that bothers some people. What do you think about that? Well, look, I mean, we've had a situation where, again, 1,600 new residents every single day in Texas, historic growth in the state of Texas. Some of the districts, especially up in my area, are very lopsided on population. And so I think we're well within our rights. We can do it. We should do it. And we should draw these on political lines. That's what the courts have said, and that's what we're doing. We've got about 1 minute left. I want to ask you a two-parted question. One, do you think you'll be able to convince enough Democrats to come back to get the work done in this special session? And two, if that doesn't happen, are you guys as House Republicans ready to keep coming back for more and more special sessions? Absolutely. We'll be here as long as it takes to get the job done for the people of Texas. Look, they expect us to work on flood relief from the July 4th floods. They expect us to eliminate the STAR test. They expect us to work on property tax relief and the other items on the call. And yes, I think Texans, the majority of which are Republicans, as we've seen in the recent elections, expect us to get this redistricting done. We'll be here as long as it takes to get the job done for Texas. Representative Patterson, thank you so much for joining the program. Thank you. Meanwhile, Governor Greg Abbott announced the Texas Rangers are now investigating Texas Democrats. He says they're looking at potential bribery charges and any other possible legal violations connected to the quorum break. Abbott is also claiming that he will remove the missing Democrats from office, citing a non-binding legal opinion from Attorney General Ken Paxton. But as our Rena Diamante explains, some legal experts doubt whether Abbott has the law on his side.
And we're here fighting.
Texas Democrats who fled the state to stop Republicans from adopting redrawn congressional districts are dismissing Governor Greg Abbott's threat to remove them from office.
We're doing our jobs. The governor can say whatever he wants, but this is a weak man that continues to do whatever he's told by the president instead of standing up for the people of Texas, which is his job. We need him to get focused on helping Texans, not helping Donald Trump rig the midterm elections.
The Democrats fled to deny Republican legislators a quorum, the number of members needed to adopt new district lines that would elect as many as 5 more Texas Republicans to Congress. Governor Greg Abbott cited a 2021 non-binding legal opinion from Attorney General Ken Paxton that argues, quote, Texas courts recognize that a vacancy may occur by abandonment of office. And that's exactly what Abbott says happened here.
These Democrats have absconded from the responsibility, and I believe they have forfeited their seats in the state legislature because they're not doing the job they were elected to do.
The Attorney General's opinion acknowledges, though, that a judge must decide whether fleeing the state to avoid a vote is the equivalent of abandoning office.
You're not there, you've abandoned. And there's some appeal to that. I mean, that is the way jobs generally work, but the legislature is not any job. And people routinely miss votes for all kinds of reasons, and they have a First Amendment right to express themselves.
The governor would have to file lawsuits to get the Texas Democrats expelled from office. When Dallas-based constitutional lawyer believes getting a judge to rule that seats are vacant would be a long shot.
They've all said, we're coming back at some point. We're just taking a temporary absence. So I hear him, he's frustrated, but his ability to actually remove them is pretty limited.
The litigation also would drag on before a resolution could be achieved. The Democrats have fled to sympathetic states led by Democrats who have vowed to help them, and perhaps to retaliate by pursuing a mid-decade redistricting that would result in electing more Democrats to negate the election of additional Republicans in Texas.
This is a war. We are at war. And that's why the gloves are off, and I say, bring it on.
The Democratic quorum breakers already face a $500 fine each day they're not in the chamber. But Governor Abbott also claimed that the Democrats could face felony charges if they're soliciting money to pay for their fines. In Washington, Rena Diamante, Capitol Tonight.
Thanks, Rena. As Republicans vow to fight back, Democrats across the state say they're not giving in. Tonight, Congressman Greg Casar hosted a rally outside the governor's mansion, where protesters marched around the building holding signs and calling for the governor to back off of Democrats. Congressman Lloyd Doggett attended the rally and told us he's grateful for the work that House Democrats are doing to protect seats like his.
I wish them well, and I think they've already achieved success in raising this to a national level, to recognize that this is bigger than Texas, that this affects people all over America if President Trump can steal next year's election this year.
Doggett also mentioned his own quorum break experience as a Texas senator in 1979, noting that House Democrats have a much tougher climb than he did.
Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Let Spectrum News be your resource for balanced, in-depth political coverage, and click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV to learn more about the candidates, where they stand on the issues, and more. We'll see you then.